Good evening and welcome to EBTV's coverage of East Brunswick High School athletics. Tonight from Jay Doyle Field, football against the Panthers of Perth Amboy High School. Hi, I'm Ken Soroka and I'm joined by Richie Whalen. And which East Brunswick team is it going to be here? Is it going to be the team that played the second half against Ridge to a 14-14 tie, or is it going to be the first half where we were down 26-0 here when we look at the Bears and their effort here against Perth Amboy?
Yeah, I mean, we did see some nice things in the second half. They got off to a tough start, and I think Ridge is a solid football team, had a lot of weapons. I think we're going to see a better effort tonight for the Bears. I think, Perth Amboy has a couple talented guys. I know they have a good quarterback. Number 21, Brandon Seho, has 4 touchdowns for him. So he's a guy that they look to, and they're pretty good at throwing the ball. And I know East Brunswick a little bit. Not only did they have a little trouble with the run, but I also think with the pass. So they're going to have to contain the quarterback and also keep an eye on number 21 tonight.
Last week against Ridge, it was running. The Ridge ran the ball effectively, off tackle, in the middle. You said that you think this is going to be more of a passing game here with Perth Amboy. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, they run the spread offense. I know they can run it too, but I know that they really like to throw the ball. They have the quarterback for them has played for 4 years for him, so and he does throw the ball a lot. And regardless of that, East Brunswick has to get some more points on the board. We were talking about it last game. They have not scored many points all season, so they're going to have to put up some points to, I think, compete with Perth Amboy tonight.
We had a hellacious rainstorm here this morning, and as we were coming out, we were kind of checking to see how this field turf reacts. I mean, it's been maybe about 8 hours or so since the last rain fell. And you've been on here on this turf, not playing it because it wasn't around when you were playing here. But what do you think? Would it be a slippery mess here?
Yeah, I don't think there should be too much. I'm kind of looking at it now. Too much of a problem. It could be a little bit with your footing. Sometimes earlier in the game, you have to kind of get used to it, and then we might see them slipping around a little bit early. But I think they'll be okay. I saw them in warm-ups, and the guys look like they'll be able to keep their feet.
All right, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. East Brunswick in the home green won the coin toss and will defer to the second half. Perth Amboy will get the ball to start. Perth Amboy in the white with the red numerals. Perth Amboy comes into this game 1-2. East Brunswick 0-3, looking for their first win of the season. Second of 3 home games in a row here at Jay Doyle for the Bears. And hopefully a better start.
Yeah, both teams have a tough opponent next week. East Brunswick is home against South Brunswick, who beat Perth Amboy 37-0 last game. And then Perth Amboy has Piscataway,
who East Brunswick lost to 41-0, if I remember or something.
So I know the one thing. I know number 21 back there to receive for Perth Amboy had a kick return for a touchdown against Old Bridge. So I would think East Brunswick would want to kick away from him. So let's see if they kick a low one or away from him there.
Little pooch shot. Yeah, you give up the field position, but you are going to not have the big return. So Perth Amboy will start with excellent field position at the 45. Maybe I would have gone with a little line drive, like bouncer, squibber, especially on the somewhat wet turf. I don't know if the television cameras can point out the glisten on the field. We've got kind of a glare up here.
Or you might even do an onside kick if you're going to, and then that situation. So let's see.
It's only 5 yards more.
Right, yeah, it's not much.
5.
So again, we were talking behind center Tajmir O'Neill, so a 4-year starter for them. So he's got a lot of experience.
Ball on the ground, still on the ground, popped up as O'Neill mishandled the snap from center, falls on it, and it'll be a 4-yard loss.
Yeah, that's one of those where you hope you have some East Brunswick bodies around, but no one was able to get in there. So Perth Amboy fortunate there. Would have been a big turnover for East Brunswick there, but regardless, they lose about 3 yards on the play. So
2 wide receivers top, 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. Single setback as O'Neill will take a shotgun snap here. Drops back, protection holds, throws over the middle behind his receiver.
Yeah, that was number 10, Mario Luna. He did have a step on his defender, just threw it behind him. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot of throwing here. So East Brunswick's, coverage has to be good, and also we need to see that defensive line get a little penetration and make him uncomfortable there.
3rd down and call it 13 here. Again, wide receiver split to the top and the bottom.
Number 21's the guy to look for, Brandon's.
Well, it looks like we had people moving all over the place. And short gain there and a good wrap-up tackle by Derek Davis, like on the tackle. He came up and stuffed that one, and Perth Amboy 3 and out.
Yeah, little self-inflicted on that first one, but East Brunswick did a nice job of knowing where the chains were. Like you said, Davis allowed the catch in front, and then you just got to come up and make the tackle, which he did. So good positive start there by EB.
Salsa and Brenner back. High punt. Brenner called the fair catch. No, that's not
Salsa,
that's Salsa.
Right.
Salvatore Salsa called the fair catch, and the Bears will start on their own 27-yard line now.
And we'll see who's going to be under center. I know I talking to, they might mix it up a little bit today. I know with throwing, it looks like 16 that Joseph DeGuido is there, but I think we, could see as the game unfolds them mixing that up. And I also heard that possibly Carlos Tapia might get some more play in the backfield. He's on the wing there.
On the shotgun. Rolling.
And that's good, Zach.
And that's good, Zach, who's going to throw and hits the on a nice route and breaking it into the open and pulled down from behind at the 40. So that's a gain of 32 yards. Yeah, a little trickeration that we thought it would be DeGuida, but it was good, Zach, who lines up and takes it after a fake, then rolls and finds his man downfield.
Yeah, good job there by number 11, Drew Brenner. Made the catch, turned, and
I was worried about when he was being chased down, just to keep that ball.
Yep, tuck it away.
Tuck it away. So a gain of actually 42 yards was at the 20, yeah.
And that's as many first downs as East Brunswick had last week in the first half.
Keeper. And that's DeGuida, who gets inside the 30 down to maybe about the 29. Yeah, 42 yards passing on the first play.
And sometimes, getting the 3 and out, getting that big play, it just starts giving you confidence. You feel good about yourself, and sometimes you can sort of build that momentum.
DeGuida and Scholl, and Scholl back there. Or Gudzak, excuse me, Gudzak. Gudzak gives it to DeGuida, who tries to take it up and breaks it open. Where did he sneak out of? That looked like it was being wrapped up around the 25-yard line, and he breaks it down all the way to the 20, inside the 20. Will give another East Brunswick first down.
Yeah, and two tackles he broke there, like you said, to get that first down. And this little switch that East Brunswick's done, I think DeGuida's comfortable running the ball. Obviously on that first pass, good Zach looked good throwing it. So we'll see. They looks like they might mix it up a little bit as this game goes on.
DeGuida on the keeper, runs into the back of someone, pulls it out to the left side and gets it down to the 15-yard line.
Looks like number 77 might come up a little, came up a little lame there, and that's a guy you don't want to lose. He's one of the captains for East Brunswick and plays both ways and does a good job both on the offensive and defensive line.
And he's also probably the biggest offensive or defensive lineman.
Right, definitely
him
him and Yusuf Gamel, I think, are the two bigger ones. But yeah, definitely. So that's someone you don't want to lose. Hopefully and he's getting up.
Yeah.
He'll come out for a play.
Yep. All right.
Unless East Brunswick call the timeout, maybe, and they can get him back on if they call the timeout. If not, I believe he'll have to come out for a play.
No, clock is running, so I don't think.
Yeah, so he's coming off the field there.
Yep.
I thought maybe they call timeout. They could call timeout and then get him back in, but they got someone to replace him. That's where East Brunswick has to capitalize here.
So Goodzak and DeGuida, looks like Goodzak is lining up behind the center right now. He's going to pull it back, looking downfield to throw, across his body, out the back of the end zone. Unfortunately, way out the back of the end zone. That's got to be on the receiver to know where he is.
Yeah, and what happened there was number 85, Chris Silberlight. He was open there, but he's got to sit down in that back of the end zone and not keep drifting. You know, the way Goodzak was rolling out, by the time he saw him, instead of stopping sort of in the back end zone, he kept drifting out. And like you said, you got to know where you are. But that could have been a touchdown for East Brunswick if the timing was a little better on that.
Third down now. Ball is at the 15, so East Brunswick has to get to about the 10. So 3rd and 5. DeGuida is now going to take it. He's going to look for a block, and Goodzak is there to block it. DeGuida makes it to the outside.
Stepped
dancing. He did step out, but he'll get enough for the first down and give East Brunswick a goal-to-goal situation at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, nice job on that left side. You said Goodzak, and also the line on that side gave him a nice path, and DeGuida is doing a nice job running the ball, getting up the field and gaining some yards after contact. Just slightly stepped out on the sideline there. I thought maybe you could keep his balance and turn it up, but East Brunswick's in good shape right now.
Now it looks like a wishbone backfield here. At that full house backfield, DeGuida not going anywhere.
Yeah, someone's helmet flew off. A little extracurricular activity here. That was number 66 for East Brunswick, who lost his helmet, Noah Keefe, on the play.
All right, 2nd and goal. They're going to mark it at about the 7, so a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Looks like they're coming in with a more wide receiver-oriented group here, so maybe even spread Perth Amboy out a little bit here and maybe give Goodzak the option of throwing or running here. Maybe a quarterback draw here. Let's see what they do.
Well, Goodzak is going to roll the opposite side. Now Stetz plants, throws back across the grade. It has his man for the touchdown. That's Salvatore Salsa.
Yep, Sal Salsa was wide open there. Was not covered. Goodzak did a good job of scanning the field. I like that he planted his feet.
As opposed to the rollout, the last play where he was running.
Planted his feet, looked sort of, you know, I don't think Salsa was the, you know, primary receiver on that, but nice job all around. And
the extra point is good.
And that's Mac Dresner, who did a nice job the last game, looked good kicking the ball. So basically, couldn't ask for more for this, you know, first about, what is that, about 5 minutes, right? East Brunswick defensively gets a stop, 3 and out, and then they roll down the field and, you know, did a little bit of everything there, right? Goodzak at quarterback. They had DeGuida at quarterback. That big throw to Brenner, and then a little bit mixing it up there.
Well, let's see if Perth Amboy changes their return strategy or East Brunswick changes their kick strategy here.
Well, now they have Dresner kicking. Last time Salsa was the kicker. So I think, like you said, they might, you know, kick it low again, but maybe try to get a little bit more distance on it. I definitely would keep it away from number 21.
Now the straight kick there is heading direction. right in the hands of number 20.
Yeah, real good coverage by East Brunswick.
Sajo.
They had a bunch of guys there ready for him. So.
So we'll see what the Perth Amboy offense really can do here. They got kind of stymied on their first drive with the fumble on the first snap.
Right, the quarterback missed the throw on second down, and then East Brunswick did a good job of knowing where the chains were. They had about a 3rd and 13 and only got about 6 yards. I know Eric Rivera, number 1 for Perth, is one of the returning running backs. See if they maybe start with a run here on first down.
Backs in an eye, the handoff to the deep back. And gang tackled there at the 26 for a loss.
And give credit there for the first contact with Noah Keefe there, number 66, got in and penetrated, and like you said, just swarming to the ball there.
Well, that's something that in the first half against Ridge, they didn't get that penetration. They were able to get through the first line of defense and into the second line before any contact.
Yeah, a lot of those runs, like you said, weren't getting touched for 4 or 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
All right, second and call it 12 here. Setback next to McNeil. Pass over the middle and down. O'Neill throws complete, but only maybe for about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, East Brunswick will allow that. And I think that's probably one of their things coming in. You know, they don't want to get beat deep, so they're doing a good job so far of keeping the receivers in front, and then obviously you have to make the tackle on that one. In high school, if you go down on a knee, you're down where you are, so we couldn't even get up and run.
2 wide receivers and a tight end to the lower part of your screen. Single wide receiver up top. 1 running back and a shotgun snap. Looking downfield, O'Neill's going to throw. He has his man across the chains, across the markers there, down at the 44-yard line, and a first down for the Panthers.
Yeah, had a lot of time there. East Brunswick had defenders around him, but we're still able to get the first down. Interested to see. Haven't really seen O'Neill try to run with it. Wonder if he has that threat of running the ball, but he's doing a good job really staying in that pocket and looking downfield.
So you got backs flanking on either side. O'Neill. East Brunswick showing
pressure,
blitz.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And there's something going on. What the
movement?
Legal procedure. Offense.
Our referee is Jim Dolan, and that play was dead ball, so I guess a false start there somewhere.
Now they had that slant to Brandon Seho, and you don't know because you hear the whistle and you kind of stop playing, but he did have a step on that D-back and maybe some room, so.
You file that away for future reference.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that happens sometimes, though. Like you were saying, they were bringing some pressure from the linebacker there, and then, you know, the offensive linemen see the guy, and they sometimes move a little early because they're trying to, you know, block that guy that's coming in with the blitz.
Backs in an eye. Now here's your running play. You were wondering about that, and coming up nicely to force the play.
Yeah, nothing there.
Derek Davis.
Yep,
force
number
it.
13. Yeah, did a nice job. Exactly what you're supposed to do as a corner there.
Again, a couple of yards, so it's going to bring up a second down, and it'll call it 13, as Perth Amboy has to get all the way to the East Brunswick 46. So it's 14 yards to go.
Just feel East Brunswick's, you know, very, very disciplined here on defense. They're playing the right way, keeping everything in front. So far, not allowing that big play yet to happen for Perth. And that's something Perth Amboy relies on.
2 wide receivers each side. Bears coming, but pass behind. Ooh, that's going to be a close mark. It's right at, but they're not going to give him a generous spot. That looked like he fell down at around the 46. They're going to call it at the 47.
Yeah, I thought it would be closer to 46 where he fell and where the ball was. Well, one thing, if I was a safety here for East Brunswick, you know, O'Neill looks like he throws the ball well. He's composure, but as a lot of guys do on all levels, but high school, he's really staring at a receiver and looking that way. So I would really be, as a safety, reading his eyes.
East Brunswick showing blitz here, but you got to be careful.
QB
Pull
sneak.
that back out. Yep, quarterback sneak. And
Probably has enough.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that little second effort there got it. You see the official coming in from the East Brunswick sideline. They're going to mark it inside the 46, and that will result in a Perth Amboy first down.
And I'm a big proponent, I know a lot of teams do it, but you have that short yardage to make, just doing it with your quarterback. You know, you see a lot of teams, 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, they give it to the deep back, and that just gives the defense a lot of times time to penetrate. So you have a good center or a guard on one side, you kind of follow them and just duck your head in there.
Now you have 3 wide receivers up the top of the screen, the wide side of the field. O'Neill back, looking, throws a little flanker screen, and blowing it up is, looks like.
That was good, Zach.
Good, Zach. Looks like he almost could have taken that one away, but East Brunswick will be happy with the pass defended and a second down.
Yep. And you saw that right kind of when the ball was snapped. You saw those couple receivers on the outside just start blocking. And you got to be careful too. You know, Perth Amboy, I'm sure as teams do, they fake that screen and then have a guy going long. So good job by East Brunswick there.
And that's over the middle and complete. And again, you were right. O'Neill's just staring down that one receiver and waiting for him to come open. This time does come open for about a 25-yard gain.
And not bad cover. I mean, pretty good throw, and he had some pressure in his face. I thought both Derek Davis and number 23 A.J. Smith were both, you know, there. It had to be a nice throw in rhythm, and it was.
Well, you said we would talk a lot about Sajo, and he's not really had the ball. He's in a slot right now on the upper part of the screen.
Yeah, he just he had that one on the penalty. They threw it to him, but let's see.
Well, we just called his number, I guess, and he breaks tackles, and he's going to get it down inside the 10, maybe around the 5.
Yeah.
Again, another play where just a little bit quicker, and East Brunswick could have picked that one off.
Yeah.
That looked like a little bit of a dying quail.
Yeah,
of a pass.
it took a while to get there. You give you know, Seheho credit for coming and meeting that and then breaking some tackles and.
Okay. Kind of a weird formation.
Yeah.
High snap. And again, this time, trying to throw it. And they are going to call that incomplete as that ball is passed out of bounds on the far sideline there in the end zone. That just looks like a little weird formation.
It was, right?
It's like if you maybe send somebody in motion or something, but East Brunswick's not getting that much pressure where you have to put 2 to max protect.
No.
And here we go, the same kind of formation. Now Ellis is going to hand it off. Now they're going to split up a little bit. Eye over formation. And looking for a caravan of blockers there. O'Neill's going to try to sneak through.
Ball's on the ground. They picked it up, though. Number 12 for Perth Amboy got it. We don't
have his number.
Oh, you got it, right?
Osiris Acevedo was able to pick it up as O'Neill was trying to pick his way through and got a little loose with the ball.
Yeah, very fortunate. Good bounce for Perth Amboy. And Perth Amboy's been having success throwing the ball in the first 2 downs. I guess he ended up throwing the ball on that one rollout, but I'd expect to see Perth Amboy, at least on this down, throw the ball. Gets a little tighter when you're this close to the end zone, though, not as much room.
And in motion. Looking, staring it down and throwing it low. Good coverage, though. I don't think he could have, unless he put that one up for a jump ball. I don't think that one would have been that was not going to be a touchdown. All right, so adventures in kicking. What do you? We don't know about the Perth Amboy place kicker.
Yeah, they're going for it here.
But down 7-0, and you play the field position game. You hopefully score. If you don't, you pin East Brunswick back on the 5.
Right.
All right. Again, that kind of weird flanking of the 2 backs behind or near O'Neill. Wide receivers to the top of the screen. He's looking through, and again, he's eyeing and just kind of focusing in on his wide receiver, and that pass was behind, and the East Brunswick Bears hold.
And the other thing with this formation, Ken, that you have these 2 running backs here is, you know, they could be out in a route there. You could spread the defense out a little bit more. And like you said, they're not there for the
pass rush is good, but it's not the, you know, it's not Khalil Mack. It's not
right.
You know, it's not that strong that you have to have both in as max protect. All right, so now the Bears can't be sloppy. They're at their own 5. Goodzak under center. Tight formation by the Bears on offense. And just a kind of a quarterback sneak to drive it through. And Goodzak's going to get.
Still going. Someone's helmet out. Again, another.
Yeah, it's a scrum down here. And the referees didn't blow the whistle, so the pile keeps moving. So from almost nothing to a 7-yard gain, 8-yard gain.
Second time a helmet came off.
Was it?
That wasn't Noah Keefe that time, right? That was Jake Norris there.
Okay.
I never got that. I don't think my helmet ever came off. I don't know if they're not strapping it all the way, or, you know, if the helmet fits, it shouldn't be coming off. So if East Brunswick has a completion or runs the ball here, this will be the last play of the quarter.
Got about 4 yards to go here. They better get this play off quick.
Yep, penalty. Right.
And they didn't.
You got to be looking at that.
Yep. That nice gain, and that's got to partly on the coaching staff too to see that you have a second and short, and the back official here has got his hand in the air counting to call the timeout.
And I'm sure the quarterback's also taught as he's, you know, surveying and under center, you have to be looking at the that back judge there, and he'll give you the 5-second count with his hands up. So you'll see when he starts counting, you have 5 seconds.
Well, that is the end of the first quarter as the clock started running again after the mark off of the penalty. With our score, the Bears 7 and the Panthers of Perth Amboy 0.
Yeah, good first quarter there, Ken. I mean, just what you wanted for East Brunswick. We were talking last game, looking at the Bears' schedule coming up. You know, this was a game that you look, you know, other than we were saying Monroe, you know, next week it's here with South Brunswick's a tough game. So East Brunswick is doing exactly what they need to do. They got a 3-and-out to start. Got the ball offensively, look much better than they did last game. They're changing their strategy a little bit. They're having Goodzak in there a little bit. He's running it, but more of the throwing quarterback. DeGuida looks comfortable running the ball. And then their defense, even on that last possession, although Perth Amboy was getting some passes, it was sort of a bend, don't break, and they did a nice job. So got to be pleased if you're East Brunswick right now. But again, it's only one quarter. It's only a touchdown game. You're still back in your own territory. So long way to go.
And again, that 5-yard penalty negated a lot of effort on the part of Goodzak to push the pile and get it out 8 yards out from the line of scrimmage at that point. But well, let's see if we can dial up now. 2nd and 7 from the 8-yard line. Again, the Bears don't want to be sloppy here, don't want to give it right back. Want to advance that ball downfield.
Just waiting for the chains to get set up there. They look all set now.
Okay, and you have DeGuida and Goodzak. It looks like DeGuida's going to take this from the shotgun. And he's going to follow the blocking and try to get outside, turn a corner.
Hold on to that ball.
Where they're going to mark forward progress, though. I guess.
What's that, about the 18?
Well, it's going to be close to the first down. Let's see
it
where.
Should be. First down's about the 16, so he should be a couple yards past that.
And he is. So East Brunswick moves the chains as we just start the second quarter of play. Hi, I'm Ken Soroka, along with Rich Whalen, giving you all the action and commentary here of this beautiful night here at Jay Doyle Field. Temperatures in the mid-60s, and the rain had cleared out nicely. We had a little bit of sunshine before we came on the air. Bears hosting Perth Amboy. Goodzak keep it himself. He gets dragged down right about the 20-yard line. And even that, looking at that back official, and he had his hand in the air ready to count again.
Yep.
So, communication here. Got to get these plays in and get them going. No headphones, no speakers in the helmets, and wireless communications here at the high school level.
Yeah, we used to, I, for a little bit was a wide receiver. We used to run the play into the quarterback, so it was, a little bit quicker.
Goodzak rolling, is launching it downfield, and not able to pick it out of the air is Salvatore Salsa. That pass was nicely thrown. I think Salsa might have had a hard time getting it. These lights are not exactly great for football. We've got a nice little glare if we stare at them. So I can imagine if you're trying to turn and look up, you could lose it in the lights. Not to make excuses here, but it did look like Salsa was searching for the ball.
Yeah, and the coverage was solid too. The Perth Amboy defender was close to him. Plus Salsa, being short, he needs to have a step or two on the defender. He's probably not going to go up and get many balls.
DeGuida splits out. Ooh, shotgun snap. Kind of a quarterback draw. Goodzak's going to get it. Going to go downfield. Pick up some blockers there with the wide receivers. Bring it out and is dropped at the 40-yard line. So 3rd and 8 becomes another East Brunswick first down. As it's about a 20-yard gain right there.
Yeah, give Goodzak credit first of all for corralling that snap, and then he does a good job. Obviously, he's a tough runner. He's got enough speed. He goes north and south, and then after contact, he's able to gain some yards. Looks very comfortable too out there.
And that's DeGuida who keeps it, and they'll take it off left tackle, trying to cut it back inside. Will get out to the 47, 48-yard line and be dropped.
Well, I definitely think, Joe DeGuida's very comfortable running the ball. He's doing that tonight. They're not asking him to throw the ball. And Goodzak is also comfortable running the ball, but maybe a little bit more comfortable with some of the throws that they're doing, a little more comfortable, able to get a little bit maybe more on the throw. So I think East Brunswick, looked at that at practice and came up with this situation where they're kind of alternating who's quarterback. But for the most part, it looks like, if they're going to throw the ball, Tim Goodzak is going to be doing that.
Clock's running here, officials. And this time, Coach Molars calls the timeout. So again, this is a problem that has suddenly developed here.
Yeah.
Well, while we have the time here, let's let you know that this game is going to be rebroadcast a couple of times on EBTV. And it's going to be rebroadcast on Saturday, October 6th at 1 p.m. and Sunday the 7th at 3 p.m. Or you can pick it up on demand. Go to ebtv.org, the website, and click the video on demand menu, and you can access all East Brunswick High School athletics as well as East Brunswick municipal meetings and community service programming. Our thanks to the EBTV technical crew who had to get here during, when it was a little bit wet up there, I guess, on the perch here at the press box, but they got everything set up in time for us to bring the football action to you. All right, second down and about 3. Bears have to get to just before the midfield stripe. That was the Bears' first timeout. Goodzak, but drops back, looking deep, now he's going to tuck it under, and he's going to lose yardage as he is sacked. Good coverage downfield. Bears only had 2 wide receivers out in the pattern, and one of them was double covered.
Yeah, and Goodzak did a decent job of moving around a little bit in the pocket, stepping up, keeping his eyes downfield, but good coverage and not able to do anything there.
Well, his check down receivers also got bottled up as Goodzak was rolling. The defenders on those check down receivers were also kind of crowding the area, so he was rolling right into it. And ball is at the far hash mark, and here we go. We're counting down again.
Yep, it's going to be close.
Ball on the ground. Uh-oh, wait, we got a whistle.
They're saying false start, looks like, on the offense was the initial. Here, Jim Dolan here.
Dead ball. Legal procedure. Green.
Well, I think part of that too is the clock, I think, is running down, and they're sort of rushing to get it off, and that happened. So what ended up as a 3rd and 5 is now a 3rd and 10, which, as anyone can tell you, is a lot more difficult.
3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Goodzak under the shotgun, drops it.
Just hold on to the ball here.
Trying to look downfield. No. Oh, that's a pick waiting to happen. That's a pick 6 waiting to happen.
And
knocked out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
And that's the quarterback, right? I believe, was that number 15, Tajmir O'Neal, I think, who caught that.
Yep.
And not that you can blame Tim Goodzak because he's trying to make a play, but in that situation, get the ball. You try to make a great play. You're kind of scrambling, and sometimes those are when that turns. That's why I was saying just get the ball and kind of get possession of it. Listen, he plays his heart out and is trying to make a play there, but puts Perth Amboy in good position here.
Backs in the eye. O'Neal under center. 2 wide receivers to the bottom. Big handoff to the fullback or the halfback. He's moving the pile again here.
Yeah, pushed it another like 3 or 4 yards there.
That looked like number 2, Eric Rivera. Was that Rivera? I can't.
Yeah, it's that
number just kind of.
Yeah, it looks like number 2,
yep.
Right?
Yep. The worst numbers to read were Colonia one year. They had yellow numerals, and with this lighting, it was impossible.
I think maybe 1 year too, J.P. Stevens with how theirs were. Very difficult to see.
Second and call it 5, man in motion. And again, a rollout. O'Neal's going to keep it. Gets the first down. Gets inside the 5.
Yeah, it's about the 3, it looks like.
Well, I mean, that drive by East Brunswick had a lot of problems. 2 snaps on the ground, a penalty for delay of game, a false start penalty.
Yeah.
That was not as well organized as the touchdown drive. Not as well executed, we should say. First and goal.
Fullback.
Fullback, you hand up straight up, and East Brunswick's there to stop them. Gangrene in the interior line there coming up.
Yeah, give Yusuf Gamel credit. He was the first guy, held him up and then post the Bears. So Perth Amboy not having much success. They're trying to run it up the middle. East Brunswick D-line is doing a nice job of sort of controlling those running lanes. Any success Perth Amboy's had really tonight has been, obviously with the pass and getting outside the tackles a little bit. But they had trouble last time in this area, not quite this deep, but inside the 10.
And something O'Neill did not like or realized the time clock. Wasn't paying attention there. Maybe the time was running out on them, and they'll take a timeout. So
yeah,
each team has taken one timeout.
So talk about, while we have a minute here, some of the teams for East Brunswick here. Girls soccer are currently 6-2-1. Boys soccer and Coach McGibbon, they're currently 6-1-1, playing really well, as are the girls. Field hockey and Coach Nat are currently 3-4-1. Girls tennis and Coach Mangino are currently 4-2. Gymnastics currently 1-2. Girls volleyball and Coach Patera are currently 5-5. And girls and boys cross country team have a couple meets coming up. And let's also give the cheerleaders and Coach Rosner a shout out there. And they're also doing something nice. I know they have the St. Bart's Buffalo, some girls from that team that are sort of shadowing and working with one of those girls. So that's a great thing that they do as well. And there they are.
Okay, second down and goal from the 2. Again, backs in an I formation right behind. Rivera.
Close. Did he get the ball over? They're going to say he did.
Yes. Well, he's big. I mean, we have him listed at 6 foot 195. He looks a little bit bigger than that from up here, but
yeah. Able to get a little bit of room and get that ball over the goal line. And that was sort of that drive was started by that interception, and then they were able to convert.
And somebody forgot to bring the kicking tee. Okay, so who's going to hold it and who's going to kick it?
All right, looks like Tony
Sacedo.
Right. Looks like he's more head on here. Mark Mosley.
And he puts it wide, so okay, survive that. 7-6 our score, with 5:27 remaining in this first half.
You're good with this stuff, Ken. I'm going to ask you. The last guy I remember with that head-on was Mark Mosley that played, right?
Yeah.
Can you remember anyone since him?
Since him, no, not unless it was an emergency kicker.
Right, right.
One game last year, the Eagles had their kicker getting bell rung on a kickoff.
Okay.
But they went for 2.
Okay.
But they did kickoffs as one of the backup linebackers, Camo Gruget Hill.
Okay.
And he did good on the kickoffs, but they went for 2 on the point afters. And they didn't have any field goal attempts.
Now, years ago, right, there was a guy, you might know this, Ken, maybe for the Saints. He, at the time, had the record for longest field goal.
Played also with the Eagles, Tom Dempsey.
Right, had half of foot and half of, right?
A club foot, yes.
Club foot.
Yep.
And he kicked it head on like that, right?
Right, 63 yards, Tom Dempsey.
Good Zach fields it.
Good Zach brings it out to the 42. So Bears will have some good field position to start with and can erase the taste of that interception and touchdown from their last drive. Yeah, there was Mark Mosley. There was Tom Dempsey. George Blanda, when he played with the Raiders, was a kicker. He was a straight-on kicker. Errol Mann for the Cleveland Browns, straight-on kicker.
How about any of those CFL guys?
I don't remember any straight-on kickers in the CFL since I've been following the CFL, no.
Yeah, so a little over 5 minutes left here. Let's see if East Brunswick, a little bit of delay here.
Got good matchups down here on the lower part of your screen. And the keeper, though, keep it on the ground. And Guida never got a chance to kind of turn and go to the outside. Gets a couple, but that's about it.
We got 3, 2nd and 7.
And 3 wide receivers to the short side of the field. Might be more of a blocking convoy here. Gudzak under center. Gets a nice snap. looking downfield, looking first to drop it, to dump it. He was trying to do a kind of quick screen to DeGuida on the sideline there, or on the far side, and then pulled it back, but tried to also hit him again.
Yeah.
DeGuida's coming up a little bit lame.
And actually pretty good decision, I think, there, because I can't tell the number if it's 55 or 65. I think it's 55 or 56 for Perth Amboy, was kind of right there for that screen. Looks like number 56. So East Brunswick, another long third down here. Looks like a 3rd and about 7.
And had a little run there toward the sideline, just cannot connect. Looks like that was heading for either, was it Silverlight on there?
Yeah, it was Silverlight, yep. And, you know, I think also maybe a little bit with Tim there, after you throw an interception, he just didn't look as comfortable, almost kind of short arm that one, where you're sort of, that's in the back of your head a little bit. I thought all the balls that he's thrown up to that point, just more confident and smooth. That one seemed a little bit, little more hesitant with that one.
So the Bears will have to punt it away and give Perth Amboy the ball back. Unable to do much on that 3 and out.
Uh-oh. Oof.
Yeah. And the muffed punt will give Perth Amboy the ball in Bears territory.
Looked like a decent enough snap, right? It was a little low, but nothing.
Yeah, just took his eyes off it.
Yeah.
Kind of. And then heard footsteps, and made a good attempt not to. I mean, you run it. You don't try to do a crazy kick from that position, but just didn't have any opportunity to gain the yardage necessary for the first down. So ball's on the 40-yard line. So Perth Amboy gets the ball back only 1 minute and 10 seconds after scoring the touchdown. Rivera on the pitch, gets through the first wave of defense, but the linebackers in secondary will come up and hold him to about a 4-yard gain.
You hate to say it, but you know the penalties, you know that you know, problem with the snap, things like that. Sometimes lately with East Brunswick, these, you know, obviously this year not having the greatest start in the years, it just seems to happen to them. Things are going well, they can't start the game any better, and now they're sort of shooting themselves in the foot with
and it's snowballing,
stuff, right?
Yeah, it's snowballing too. The time delay of games, the clock management, that kind of thing. O'Neill drops back, throws it over the middle. I think his receiver there, Mario Luna, broke off the pattern too quick. He was supposed to go a little deeper with that.
I think he stopped, and you know, O'Neill was not happy about it.
Well, he might have just found that little open spot and said here, but
yeah.
O'Neill thought he was going to go further downfield, maybe go, looked like maybe it was a skinny post, but third down now, and you're in 4-down territory here. I don't think Perth Amboy would be willing to punt unless a real bad negative play happens right now. 3rd and 6.
East Brunswick definitely more in coverage here, not sending as many people, only 3 down linemen here.
O'Neill with the flanker screen. The penalty thrown immediately on that. And that came from the referee.
Legal motion.
Yeah, legal motion, 2 men in motion. So. Let's listen to hear what the explanation is. So they're saying third and 11 or
illegal shift.
Yeah, a no-brainer. You make it 3rd and 11 instead of instead of a 4th and 1.
Yep.
Even though, like you said, they're probably, this is still 2-down territory. You make them pick up 11 yards in 2 plays instead of 1 yard in 4th down.
2 wide receivers, top 2 wide receivers, bottom setback Rivera there. Snap shotgun, and O'Neal throwing downfield and sitting down just in front of the defender is that Hector Caba,
right,
yep.
right in front of number 23, A.J. Smith.
And that's a gain, a healthy gain there, as the ball is now going to be spotted around the 22-yard line. So a pickup there of almost 25. Dropping back, looking, again, flanker screen, but
Drop.
bobbled. Yep.
And that's available. East Brunswick saying, you know what, we're going to let you have those 4 or 5 yard routes, but then come up and tackle you. So Perth Amboy, you know, has been throwing a few of those, but got to be able to make that catch. Yeah, I take a look here from Perth Amboy down on the bottom. I was talking up number 21 for Perth Amboy. I've not targeted him too many times. He's got single coverage there.
A good wrap-up tackle. Is that Smith? Yep. Derek Davis came up.
Yep, he did what you're supposed to do on that slant. Ball was a little bit behind Seho, but that's what you need to do. So again, 3rd and about 5 here, and again, Perth Amboy's probably thinking we need to get that in 2 plays here.
Got 2 wide receivers again, top and bottom, now in motion. O'Neal looking over the middle, has a man wide open, not covered. Yep.
Yeah, and there's some disagreement there in the secondary. I see, you know, Salsa and Smith and Brenner are talking to each other, pointing at who should have them, but obviously
the man in motion, you get put a man in motion, you have to adjust, and I don't think they adjusted. And they flooded that top of the screen, and suddenly down the middle of the seam, boom.
Yeah, communication's important. Sometimes, you know, kids, especially high school, don't talk enough. And Perth Amboy is going to go for 2 here after that missed extra point to try to make it 14-7.
That was a really bad motion.
Got in.
He got in, yeah. I thought it was.
I thought so too. I thought definitely obvious. Unless I'm just seeing stuff. I'm glad you said that, because I thought the same thing. Thought a good second before that was snapped that someone looked like they were moving.
So our score is now 14-7, Perth Amboy with 2:10 left. So in a space of about 3 minutes, we've gone from 7-0 East Brunswick to 14-7 Perth Amboy.
And I was sort of saying after the first quarter, you know, East Brunswick couldn't have played a much better first quarter, I thought. But the game is 4 quarters, and you have to be able to, you know, continue to do the things they were doing. You know, turnover, you know, bad snap on the punt where Perth Amboy gets good field position. Penalties, you know, delay a game, false start, you know, just things that you cannot have. And give Perth Amboy credit too for making some plays.
Nice kick driving.
That's Brenner.
Brenner back to the 5, going to try to take it in through its middle seam. Stiff arms, gets around, but gets out to about the 32. So a nice return there for Drew Brenner. We'll give the Bears a chance here with 2:08 left. Bears have 2 timeouts, in case you're keeping track of that. And as in college, the clock will temporarily stop as they move the chains for a first down. Now 3 wide receivers set down the bottom of the screen. That usually means the run is coming that way. You haven't passed out of that formation or passed to that part of the formation. So we'll see if somebody breaks in motion here. Nope, it's a keeper with DeGuida trying to break it outside, get around the tackle. had one man to beat, and he just could not cut that corner any finer.
Yeah, that was number 21 for Perth Amboy, Seho, who made a nice tackle. DeGuida did a nice job of breaking some tackles initially. Well, now it kind of gets interesting here. Minute 35, 2nd and 7.
And this is, again, you have people coming in and out. You have a play that has to be relayed, and you get up to the line, and the trailing official's got his hand in the air.
Starting to count, yep. Just got it off.
Godzak avoids a tackle. Does manage to break it through. Gets out over the 40 to the 43.
Close to a first.
Yes, they're going to take a minute to spot this one because they're close to the first down.
And I'd be having a little more sense of urgency. I know that East Brunswick does get the ball to start, but you're in pretty good field position. You're at your own 44. You got the clock's running now.
Are they? The chain gang hasn't gotten. No, the clock hasn't started yet because they're talking to get the chain gang to move the chains. Now.
So there's a minute left here. East Brunswick, needs to have a little bit of sense of urgency here. I don't understand. We got 2 timeouts left. Uh-oh.
That is. Not.
No.
Again, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And Perth Amboy player down, injury. And again, that was not Godzak's fault in the sense that he tried to throw it, but his arm was hit.
Yeah,
ball was deflected.
Had some pressure right in his face there.
And with 39 seconds and 2 timeouts, Perth Amboy will get the ball.
We got a few of the medical staff out there. We got Lori DeFazio, our one of our trainers that is out there.
I didn't see whether or not this lineman here was rolled up on by other linemen, but
you see with those linemen a lot, you see the knee braces, but that's a good sign that he's sitting up there.
Looks like 55 for Perth Amboy, if I'm right reading that. We don't have a 55. Maybe that's 58.
We'll get a better look here. No, you're right, 55.
Well, we don't have a 55, so.
I do have on the one from their website, Manny Moscaso. So, all right. Well, now Perth Amboy's in pretty good shape here.
Yep, they've been able to find those seam routes and get in front of the East Brunswick secondary, so you can move the chains effectively there and pick up yardage and perhaps get to the first down or get a touchdown here. Rivera, the lone setback, 3 wide receivers to the bottom of the screen. O'Neal sits back and is throwing the fade.
Nice catch.
Yeah, and they are going to say a catch.
Yeah. I like the, 21, like I was saying, coming in, he hasn't been too active, but, sort of the only receiver down on that end, single coverage, throw it up and give him a shot to make a play on the ball, and he made a nice adjustment on the ball, nice catch, and only 7 seconds went off on that play. So now Perth Amboy can really do what they want here. It looks like they're on about the 6-yard line, 2 timeouts, so you're not bound to throw the ball here. You can also mix in the run and call a timeout. Oh, didn't get the playoff in time.
Playoff in time, yep.
Whistles and a flag on the throw in.
All delay offense.
Motion against Amboy.
Well, it makes it a little harder now, 11 yards out, but East Brunswick definitely needs a stop, needs to keep it to a one-score game. O'Neill backs up, looking, now scrambling away, looking, still downfield. Is going to run with it and will get close to the end zone.
Just short. They should call a timeout right now if I'm Perth Amboy.
And Coach Brad Bishop is going to call a timeout. He's rushing on the field there to call it. 18 seconds left.
And just short, right on the one, it looks like.
Got bent kind of, oh, that kind of weird. We both kind of went like, ooh.
Yeah.
Because that could have been really something if his knee or leg got caught under it. But O'Neill bounces back up, and each team has one timeout. Well, you know, you've got a big back in Rivera, who's already scored one touchdown from in close.
Yeah, you got plenty of time here. You got 18.2 seconds. You have one timeout left.
This is a Jekyll and Hyde, you know, team. I mean, we saw two different halves last week against Ridge. Now we're seeing two completely different quarters.
Yeah, first quarter, you know, played great in all aspects, and obviously this quarter, especially the second part of this quarter.
The last 5-6 minutes of it, yeah, the second part of this quarter, yes. Okay, backs it in an I formation behind O'Neill, who's under center. He's going to hand off to the second back. He's stopped for a loss.
Timeout.
And, yep, timeout.
A lot of time went off there before, you know, it was 18.2, a full 10 seconds before they called the timeout. So,
well, that's the thing. You only have 5 officials on the field, and your coach is 30 yards behind the play. It's not like they have in the NFL where they have like a side official there close by just for those occasions. I remember the Super Bowl even.
Yeah.
Before Peterson called the Philly play, before Nick Foles called it. And he's yelling down the sideline, Chris, timeout, timeout, timeout. And they relay it in.
Well, now if you're Perth Amboy, obviously it's third down, so you got at least one.
I'd keep it in O'Neill's hands.
Yeah, I mean,
let him figure out whether to throw it or to run it.
But with about 9.3 seconds left, you definitely have one play. Now, what happens if you don't score on this down? You'll have to make that decision. Do you want to? Obviously, the extra point the first time was no good. Do you try a play on fourth down to try to score for a touchdown, or do you try the field goal? So,
well, that's what I said. If you keep it in O'Neill's hands, and he's running around but has to get rid of it, he can stop the clock with an incomplete pass. All right, so this looks like, again, a I formation.
They can't be running the ball here.
Okay, Neil rolling, looking. Had a man snuck in there on the side.
That's number 3, Tony Sacedo. See what Perth does. It looks like they might be going for 2 again. Nope, they're going to kick it. I think number 3, although number 3, who scored, is also their kicker, so. Look like this is going to be a 2-point attempt here.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2. O'Neill rolling, same basic play.
Same exact play, and wide open again.
He's open again, yeah, exactly. Except that nobody was by him that time.
It was a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Pretty much exactly in the same result there. Well, Ken, but you know, as we watch the teams here, obviously we're looking at Perth Amboy sideline here. Going to look a lot different than what East Brunswick sideline is going to look like, and we probably would have said earlier in the game the opposite would have been true. You know, East Brunswick up 7-0, so 22 unanswered for Perth Amboy. you know, the one thing maybe positive if you're East Brunswick, you know, you played a good maybe quarter and almost a half, and you do get the ball here. So they're going to see if they can regroup here to start the third quarter.
And we'll be back with the third quarter. East Brunswick to receive the second half kickoff right after this.
East Brunswick High School varsity cheerleaders. East Brunswick High School marching band. You may take the field with your halftime performance.
Ready for the second half kickoff here at Jay Doyle Field. I'm Ken Soroka along with Rich Whalen. We have the Bears trailing the Panthers of Perth Amboy 22-7. This is schizophrenia, Rich, except that this time it happened within a half.
Yeah, we're praising East Brunswick first quarter. Both offensively and defensively. Really the best quarter I've seen in a long time for East Brunswick, definitely probably this year. And then, the wheels started to come off a little bit. Interception by Perth Amboy that led to a score. A little bit of sloppy play by East Brunswick in terms of, getting guys on the field. A couple delay.
You name it.
Yeah.
Muffed snaps on the shotgun. A muffed snap on a punt that ended up being a turnover on downs. 2 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Delay of game penalties.
Yeah.
That ruined a drive.
And then also a couple, Perth Amboy guys wide open, especially at the end. They run the same play twice in a row and have a guy right.
Yeah, they run for the touchdown and for the 2-point convert. Yeah.
And then another touchdown previously where guys are kind of looking at each other and saying just not good. So the good news for East Brunswick, we had said when they were up 7-0 that can't get too excited because it's a 4-quarter game. So. If this 22-7, so if they can get something going here, get a touchdown, they'll they could still have some time here.
Line drive kick's going to go into the end zone, so the Bears will get the touchback and take over on their own 20. Those 2 interceptions, one of them was almost returned for a pick 6. The other one was a deflection as Gudzak's arm was either hit or the ball was hit coming out and it just fluttered. But both of those resulted in scores, as well as the punt that was muffed up.
You got to be careful too if you're East Brunswick here. You have to, even though you're down a couple scores, you have to try to stay patient here and not try to do too much.
Inside handoff.
Good block there by number 779, Yusuf Gamel. A nice, decent run there by DeGuida. Maybe gets 3 on the play.
Is it time for DeGuida to throw a pass? Because it seems like when he's under center, they kind of anticipate a keeper.
Right now Gudzak is under center with Gudzak in the backfield.
Power sweep,
ball
on the ground.
Oh no!
And
jeez,
and ball is
and they picked up for a touchdown.
Yep,
because it was squirting around. Can you imagine this? Unfortunately, we probably can, but oof.
Rivera picked it up. He already has a touchdown on offense. Picked it up. Yeah, that ball was bouncing around there. Thought it was dead, and then just squirted out.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Ken. I thought Perth Amboy guy fell on it. Must have just squirted out. And before you knew it, like you said, number 2, Eric Rivera, who is only listed at 6'195", he sure looks a lot bigger than that up here.
All right, Adventures in Place kicking part 2 here is with a 21-point lead. Perth Amboy is going to try to attempt the point after.
This is a new kicker. So let's see if he has a head on
Rivera?
or not.
Yeah, is that Rivera, number 2? No,
number 22.
22.
So that's Carlos Baldera.
Baldera was doing the kickoff, so.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, right straight through.
And you almost heard the sigh and the quiet that came over the crowd here at East Brunswick after that. And if you kind of just look at East Brunswick sideline here, we see, some of the players walking off. But just almost disbelief and, just obviously I'm sure in that locker room at halftime, well, that wasn't the plan.
No, that wasn't the plan. All right, let me ask you, when you played,
yes,
what's harder to take, a blowout loss or that kind of close down the wire, punching back and forth, lose it in the end?
Well, the close ones you remember, especially if it was, a big game, you don't forget those. At the time, those blowout losses are bad, but you don't quite remember those as much. I can still remember both basketball and football-wise some really close tough losses that we had, and don't remember as much those blowouts.
Line drive kick. Brenner. Yep. That had all the makings of another disaster there, but the referees and Brenner holds on to the ball, fortunately.
East Brunswick's got to keep in mind, you know, obviously
25-yard line. It's forward progress spotted there. Well, again, you know, what is the goal here? Is the goal here get one good drive, one good play, one set of downs? I mean, this is kind of start small here. Godzak on the keeper.
Get about 3 or 4.
And it doesn't seem like the Perth Amboy is biting on fakes as they were in the first half. But it is positive yardage, brings up a 3rd down and about 6.
Yep.
Or second down.
Second down.
Second down, 6.
And the issue with East Brunswick too, not that any teams are good playing from behind, but I think the way East Brunswick, you know, the personnel they have on their team, the way they're, you know, they're more of a take some time off the clock, get chunks of yards. You know, they're not as much that big play threat. So when you're really down, you know, they're down 22, but they're really, you know, almost down more than that with.
All right, Brenner on a screen. Good blocking setup. Has some blocking downfield. Gets it out over midfield. Brings it down to the 42-yard line. Again, a very positive play there. As Brenner came in motion across the
and that was
formation.
DeGuida.
Oh, DeGuida caught that?
That was DeGuida, yep.
Okay, sorry. But you had a nice little setup there and blocking downfield.
And then those are the type of plays, you know, East Brunswick, an aggressive Perth Amboy defense, a little screen, get some, you know, open field in front of you, and it was executed well on all ends there.
Inside handoff, and that's Godzak handing it off to DeGuida. Or was that, again?
That was DeGuida.
That was DeGuida, okay.
Yep.
Second and 6. The Bears.
Well, East Brunswick has not scored more than, what, 14 points in a game so far this year? 10 against.
Right, what did they get against Ridge?
14.
14, was it?
Yep. Looking,
got Salsa open.
Yep. Salvatore Salsa has it, breaks away, dragging people with him. And another good play as Godzak had time and found Salvatore Salsa hanging around the near sideline. Got a couple of blocks.
Yeah, and that's a good time to run that play, have him roll out to his right. As a righty, it's easier for him to get his feet set and have his body in the good position to throw it.
And that's the first time that they've thrown to this side of the field.
Yeah.
The other throws have always been across to the formation.
Exactly. So a little momentum here for East Brunswick. Let's see if they can capitalize. Godzak's going to keep it.
Yeah, goes up the middle. And Perth Amboy wrapping up nicely there, but does get some positive yardage here. 7, we'll call it 2nd and 7. I'll give him 3 yards on that one. Godzak's got to get in there quicker. This is going to be one of those nerve-wracking time count violations here. DeGuida bobbles the snap. He's going to have to eat it. Manages to break through and has room and gets into the end zone. Well, that was something to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, that was definitely, I mean, a kind of low to the side snap. He did a great job of just catching the ball had Perth Amboy defender that got in there quick, but able to break that tackle and then had some open space and did the rest on his own.
So Max Dresner from a DeGuido hold to attempt the extra point. And it's good.
Let's give Joe DeGuida some credit there too, because he did have that fumble to start. So he came back and had a nice drive there. Had that screen pass for some yardage. Had a couple nice runs and had that run where he did a lot of that on his own. So good response there by East Brunswick. Let's see if they can, let's see if their defense can, hold Perth Amboy and try to get that ball back.
Well, Perth Amboy has not killed itself, with the exception of the occasional penalty.
Yeah.
They have not. They had the one fumbled snap on that first drive that set them back a few yards and kind of set that early tone in the first quarter, but they have not killed themselves.
No.
No holding penalties. No, a couple of false starts here or there.
Yeah.
But
I think they had one other fumble that they recovered down the end East Brunswick is going, but recovered that, and I think maybe turned the ball over on downs anyway, where their quarterback.
Right. That was that was that goal line stand by the Bears again in that first quarter.
Let's see here, East Brunswick. I think they will kick it deep here, but you can see Perth Amboy has guys up here. They're expecting maybe they got 9 guys up within 20 yards of where the ball is, so they're expecting
if you
possibly.
can't put this in the end zone, line drive it, make it harder to catch. You pop it up there nice and high. Okay, you're gonna give Seho a chance to come up with it. Nice wrap-up tackle there by Brenner. Yeah,
very nice.
And Perth Amboy will start now at the 29-yard line. This is their first offensive possession here in the third quarter. Tajmir O'Neal, the quarterback. Rivera, the setback next to him. 2 wide receivers top, 2 wide receivers bottom. Shotgun snap, little bobble. Sejo gets and breaks a tackle. This is where he was dangerous. And he's dragging people with him across the 45 to the 47.
And that's the thing we were talking about. If East Brunswick is going to give some cushion there, got to be able to come up and make that tackle, because if not, could turn into a big play. Turned into a I guess almost a 20-yard game.
Yeah, almost
penalty.
Oh, no, holding. So that will negate such a good play there. I didn't see the hold. Was it an interior?
Either, yeah.
Was it an interior hold, or was it a wide receiver downfield?
I have a block in the back.
The back.
12
okay.
white. First down.
Okay, so a block in the back after the pass.
So I guess a spot foul there, right, Ken? So
well, 10 yards from the spot. So
right.
Yep, that was downfield. So
1st and 9. Got the single coverage down on the bottom here too for Perth Amboy. Seho. You got him.
Good defense.
Yeah, good defense
by Derek.
Better be careful with
Derek Davis there. Yeah, no trash talk in there. Davis had to locate that one and must have got his arm in there and dislodge it, but
yeah, if that ball was thrown a little better too, I think he would have got beat. Made a nice play on the ball there. Ball was thrown a little bit short, but he was sort of jamming him off the line there, and I was watching that matchup there, and he did have a couple steps on him, but good recovery there by Davis.
Davis once again on Sejo at the bottom of the screen, backs in an eye. Trickeration, ball's on the ground, and East Brunswick has it at the 24-yard, 25-yard line. Now let's see if the Bears can use this momentum and add to their score and get this game Down to 1 score.
And listen, I'm not a conservative type guy by any means in terms of, you know, doing things, but, you know, Perth Amboy's up 15. Not that the game is over. There's a lot of time left in the game, though, but those sort of reverses where you get multiple guys that get their hands on the ball can sometimes be a little bit tricky. And obviously Perth Amboy had some trouble holding the ball. Now East Brunswick, look at this, down 15, but in great position here to get another score.
And that's DeGuida trying to break it outside. He hasn't been able to really get outside. Good pursuit. Gets good side.
Late flag here, 77. Oh,
yeah.
no, he might be out of the game. I think Singh might be out of the game. He threw a punch there, and the referee saw it. Now, something might have happened to him. I didn't see it, but I saw the retaliation. So
yep.
he might be, that might be it.
Let's listen in and see if we got multiple fouls here. All right, we're going to wait for the call here first before the deliberations. After the deliberations here, yeah, the second flag is definitely on Aditya Singh for that, and whether or not he was whacked by the other guy, but it does look like there was some kind of engagement there after the play.
Yeah, no, he kind of took a shot at him, and again, I just saw sort of the tail end of that. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of times that's what the refs see. They don't see the initial.
Right, and the one official's coming in and made a face mask. All right,
yeah,
let's listen in.
I got a personal foul on white face mask. I got a dead ball personal foul on green.
So, okay, so what do we do? We march 15 one way, back 15 the other way? Okay, so that's the 15 yards back from the personal foul, but because it's a dead ball. I mean, okay, we're gonna need a clarification here on where this goes, but basically net nothing. Just goes back to, well, I don't know. See, both are 15-yard penalties. Unless the face mask was a grasp and not, well, it's a personal foul, so it's 15.
Yeah,
it's 15.
And I think, did they get rid of that in high school too? Is it just the one?
Know. Grabbing the face mask versus.
Right.
So it ends up being a net of -5 on the yardage.
Still going to be first down
here. So
here.
the face mask probably was on the tackle, and then the extracurricular activity. So it's now 1st and 12 or 13. Oh, he had it.
Yeah. And then just.
And that's, could have been crawling up the back there, but did you see the receivers open? And people were yelling that there's open, but I didn't see anybody break where Goodzak could see it.
Yeah.
Because he's rolling to his left.
Yeah.
There might have been somebody open down here on the close hash marks, but couldn't see it. So
yeah, sometimes you hear the fans say that, and it's not always true. I didn't quite see it, but it could have been.
All right, so it's 2nd down. No cause for panic right here for the Bears. They can still get the 13 yards. DeGuida is under center. He's going to
shovel pass.
Yep. So that's really didn't gain much.
Yeah, maybe
a
3 or
yard,
4, right?
A couple yards.
Going to be, I guess, 3rd and about 11 here.
Mm-hmm. But if you're East Brunswick, the realistic thing is you're in 2-down territory here.
Definitely.
Just outside 10, called 11 yards to go here. Bears got to get to just inside the 25.
Right, the 15.
Or inside the 15, excuse me, they're outside the 25 right now. And we have a timeout here, something going on here for equipment or something.
21 had to come out for some reason for Perth Amboy. All right, nope, he's coming back in. Maybe he had to give the I don't know what that was.
Three receivers to the bottom, one to the top. Again, East Brunswick usually runs out of this formation. Oh, that was a tough throw, but it was on target.
Gave him a shot at it, right?
Gave him a shot. Gave him a shot. He just had to try to do that one-arm cap and bring it in, and that's kind of hard for Brian Whitelock to come up with, but that would have been a bang-bang kind of play. Get those feet, get that catch, and get that feet down.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe East Brunswick would do, something, try to maybe pick up, 6 or 7 yards, make it a 4th and shorter. So now this is a 4th and 11, just outside. Looks right on the 26, like you said, Ken. They need to. Looks like that knows that football has to get inside that 15-yard line or right on it in order to get it now.
Now 3 wide receivers to the wide side at the top of the screen. Snap.
A little pressure in his face. Oh.
Oh, he had him in that seam area there.
Yeah. Had a little pressure with number 34 there for Perth Amboy in his face. Oscar Rosario. So it made it a little bit tougher and just a little short. Did have Brenner open in the middle. Couldn't, quite get it to him there, though. So East Brunswick had a chance there, right?
They got the turnover, but could not convert it to points, unlike Perth Amboy, who was converting everything to points.
And then, Perth Amboy with the face mask, but then you have the, personal foul penalty where you get pushed back. So, you don't have that personal foul penalty. Could be a different story.
Well, 5:24 left to go here in the third quarter as play has kind of bogged down with these penalties and stoppages and incomplete passes. Perth Amboy shows 3 wide receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom, but that's his favorite target. And we have a delay of game.
That's tough to do off a change of possession, right? You sometimes see that on like a long pass or something, and guys are taking a while to get down to the ball, but the possession just changed. So a little sloppy play now, by Perth Amboy. That fumble on the attempted reverse, and now a 5-yard penalty after a change of
and
downs.
A holding on the one pass play.
True. Yep.
So, or the block in the back, I should say. But yes, okay. The handoff to Rivera is going to break it outside. He's got room, and he's going to get very close to the first down marker. He's going to be short of the 35. Needs to get to the 36. So, probably picks up 13 of the 15 yards that he needed.
Yep. And one of the first real times, maybe another time or two, but where a lot of room there to operate. He really did not really meet a defender until he got about 6 or 7 yards up that field.
Backs in an eye. The handoff. Off tackle. Gets across the 40 for a first down. Little change of pace there.
Yep, nice tackle there by number 66, Noah Keefe, for East Brunswick. But unfortunately for EB, after he had enough for that first down. East Brunswick could use another turnover here. Perth Amboy already has 1 this half, 1 turnover.
And trying to break it around the outside. Rivera gets, again, almost 9.
Yeah. And you know what? East Brunswick actually on their line there, number 79, Yusuf Gamel had some penetration, but that on the end there, someone's not containing because he's able to turn that corner and pick up a good chunk of yards. So that's the second time on this drive that left side of the East Brunswick defense that end, whoever's down there has to stay outside and force that ball back up inside where the defenders are.
O'Neal almost falls down, giving the handoff. So no gain there, maybe a loss of a yard, and will bring up 3rd down and 5. Nice
play by Carlos Tapia there, getting in the backfield and getting the negative play. All right, so see if East Brunswick can get Perth Amboy off the field. Still 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Looks like sending a little pressure here, East Brunswick.
O'Neill's going to roll out, chased, and brought down for a loss back around the 45, so it'll bring up a fourth down. And I don't think if you're Brad Bishop, coach of the Panthers,
you gotta kick
punt
this
one away.
Yep, definitely. Good job there by East Brunswick defensively. Sent some pressure, sent a couple guys, got in O'Neill's face right away. Really didn't have time to anything. He was trying to scramble, but was not able to.
So Sato is the punter. Dropping back in. Two Bears here waiting to pick it up. Low snap, but gets it. Gets away a nice punt. Fair catch called for and delivered at the 30, where the Bears, with 2:03 left to go in this third quarter, will operate 1st and 10. Again, Bears down 2 scores. Not a panic time here, but a nice drive here and a score would make things interesting as we turn into the fourth quarter.
They had a great opportunity, before, but they're still in this game. 2 scores. Obviously, one of the scores would, both scores would have to be touchdown. They'd have to get at least 1 2-point conversion if it stayed this way. I'm looking on the bench here, East Brunswick. I'm not sure if it's just a coach's decision or, if Singh got sent off the, he doesn't have his helmet on. He's on that sideline. So we'll keep an eye on that because he's an important player both ways for the Bears.
Horse collar tackle.
There's a little acting there.
Yeah, I'm trying to draw the foul, but again, they don't call the horse collar tackle here. They call it in the NFL.
You know what? I guess with that rule, Ken, do you have to bring it? Does he have to be brought to the ground? So he stopped them there, and then before he went to the ground, he grabbed them. So
yeah, I guess you have to.
Right.
But that was a big loss. Again, Bears.
Yeah, it's a loss about 12, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, about 10. You're right, because they're
10,
third, so they're starting on the 20. So right. So 2nd and 20.
Again, we got looking across the middle. Looks like Brenner there.
Got a good chunk back, right?
Yep.
Going to make this a pretty manageable 3rd and about 6 or 7.
Got to get to the 40, so Bears do need 6 yards out of this. Again, late substitutions. The whistle comes in and you're bringing the play in.
And depending on when they, get this off and what they run here, could be the last play of the quarter, and they're gonna keep it. Yep.
Nope. Helmet.
Good stick, yeah.
Good stick. Yep. You heard it up here. And no gain there, and it'll bring up a 4th down, but the time will probably run out on the Bears here.
Interesting 3rd down play call there.
And we will come to the end of the third quarter. We'll figure out whether or not the Bears are going to go for it. Trailing 29-14 here to the Panthers of Perth Amboy. I'm Ken Soroka along with Rich Wayland, and a better quarter. Not perfect, but a better quarter for the Bears.
Could have said it would have been a pretty good quarter, except for the, first possession, turnover, score off the turnover by the Panthers. But then, after that, East Brunswick gets the score on the run by DeGuida, and then actually get another great opportunity with the fumble on the reverse by Perth Amboy deep in their own territory. And unfortunately, there was a penalty on Perth Amboy for a face mask. East Brunswick gets called for a personal foul, so that negates that penalty. And then East Brunswick gets stopped on downs there. So, but they're still in this game. They're down 2 scores, down 15. They have the ball here, and like you were saying, Ken, might have although they are you know, in their own territory here. They might have a decision here of with only 1 quarter left, and it does look like they're coming out to
go for it.
To go for it, just with the personnel.
Well, you've got nothing to lose. You know, you're losing already. It's not going to be like, you know, you figure at best maybe you get 2 possessions.
Right.
In the 4th quarter. So East Brunswick will go 4th down here. 2 wide receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top.
I'm surprised that DeGuida is not in the game. He's done some nice things.
Brenner
catch it?
with the catch. Yes.
They're gonna say, okay.
All right.
We're kind of
First
blocked
down.
off where we are here.
Yeah, the Bears had changed personnel on offense there. They had Aston Jones, I think, was in the backfield there, kind of leading a kind of forward blocking if Gudzak was going to keep it and run with it. But yeah, he's in there now. That's right. We're got a little bit of a change of personnel here. 1st and 10. Gudzak's going to keep it.
He's got
get across the middle. He's going to break through. Can he go all the way? Dancing down the sideline. He did it.
Did he?
He did it. No indication that he's there. 52 yards.
And I think East Brunswick will go for 1 here, and then if they are able to keep the score where it is, probably will go for 2 at that time. They hit that hole nice job by that left side of the line for East Brunswick. Had a nice hole to run through. He did not hesitate and showed some good speed. He gave that little stiff arm, but also showed some good speed and also some good balance to stay off that sideline.
Dresner to attempt the extra point.
Big one here.
Extra point.
And that's perfect.
Yep. So the Bears put 21 on the board for the first time this year. In fact, in the 2 previous games, they only scored 24. They were and 1 shutout.
Right.
So Bears offense starting to click here, and maybe that combination of DeGuida and Gudzak, giving you a combination with passing ability to move the ball downfield, might be useful.
And you know, any team shows this, but East Brunswick, you know, when they've looked good, they've looked good, and when they haven't looked good, they haven't. You know, they've done some things that haven't been great, but let's give them credit, especially coming out to start the second half with a turnover that led to a score, to be able to, you know, maintain their composure, their focus. You know, obviously helped out by that 1 turnover by Perth Amboy, and maybe Perth Amboy, you know, maybe not as sharp as they were in that 2nd quarter, but give East Brunswick a lot of credit here to make this, you know, a 1-score game with plenty of time left.
Well, again, I would not kick this in the air. I would put a line drive. I'd make it bounce. Giving it up a little pop-up means you can run under it and catch it with some momentum going forward. So let's see what happens here. Again, a little pop-up.
Got a little room here. All right, good job by EB there.
Bottled up at the 28-yard line. Well, they kicked it away from Sejo and went to Carlos Baldera. So at 11-12 left to go. Bears with a stop, you know, could get decent field position here. So a 3-and-out and decent punt coverage, and Bears could have a real nice chance at tying this up. 2 wide receivers to the top, including O'Neill's favorite target. Up.
Yep, movement right there.
Yeah, right there. We caught it on the right tackle.
Right tackle, number 50.
I got a dead ball. Legal procedure. Offense.
The Bears were walking personnel up to put a little pressure there. Now he's got matchups. You know, O'Neal has the one-on-one on the outside receivers. So anytime he wants to, he can try to that jump ball and throw it up there. But Bears need, if they're going to bring the pressure, they've got to get to the quarterback. Baxton and I, 2 wide receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Bears not showing that kind of pressure right now. Now walking up, look at this. Rivera with the handoff. And good penetration, getting behind the line and tackling for a loss. As Rivera's brought down for about 4-yard loss, 3-yard loss.
Yeah.
Ball's on about the 22 and a half, and he's got to get to the 40, 41, so yes. Three wide receivers down to the wide side at the bottom of your screen. Bears again walking up. Potential rushers here, bringing some extras, firing on the sideline, and
gotta make the tackle.
Gotta make them up, and and getting out of that big hole and getting across midfield. Got to wrap up, and they didn't, and it allowed Perth Amboy to get ahead there. Oof.
Yeah, second, right? What was that? Second and about 18.
Right, and they got 25.
And the throw was, you know, what if you made the tackle an 8 or 9 yard gain, right?
Yep.
And it turns into
3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. No.
Right.
But instead now Perth Amboy has it across midfield, and again, Bears cannot afford any kind of score.
No.
Not to say that Perth Amboy's kicking game is worthy, but gotta get some pressure here. O'Neal got.
Oh no.
They're gonna break it down the sideline.
I think they missed a block in the back there.
Yes.
Number 30, Carlos Tapia, was going to make a tackle, and he got just pushed in the back. That was, I thought, pretty obvious. But again, you know what, actually, I think a good job by someone on the D-line of getting his hands up. I think they had number 21 maybe open there, and it ended up turning into a big play with his feet there with O'Neal. East Brunswick's got to pick it up here on defense.
Going deep.
Oof.
Brenner kind of put his hands up.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew where the ball was, right?
Yeah, and the ball actually was a little bit underthrown, and the Perth Amboy receiver had a chance to turn around.
I thought so too.
And, you know, second and 10. Clock did stop on that incompletion, so we're just under 10 minutes left to go. Pressure coming again, and we got another one of those fades, and that's wide open.
Yeah.
And in for the score.
Sort of matter of time, I felt, for that a little bit, you know.
Sooner or later, that was coming. And again, about a 35-yard, nice, you know, laid it right in there. Saucedo, number 3, or was it? Yeah, it was number 3. Saucedo had it. While East Brunswick has been in man-to-man coverage, and without help over from a safety, that's
saying my man's faster than you, and then make a good throw and have a little time.
And he knows where he's going.
Yeah.
That's the problem. DB's there.
Right, you're reacting,
looking around. All right, we got a busted play here. And the point attempt is no good. Well, again, now time is of the essence. And you mentioned the Bears at the end of, I guess, the end of the first half. It was not exactly, thinking about pacing.
No, right. You have to have some urgency. Exactly. Your time is not on your side here. So, you can't force stuff, but if you have a 2-minute offense, maybe you do that where you don't huddle. At the very least, you're ready to go right away. And East Brunswick in that, little disappointing by the defense there. Offense gets a score. Nice run by Tim Goodzak to get him within a score, and really just kind of, did what they wanted in that drive. Get a penalty to start,
big
right?
Quarterback
Get another
scramble.
Loss, and it's a 2nd and 18, and you miss that one tackle. So.
Miss a tackle, you get 18 yards and get a first. You miss your opportunity to sack the quarterback, and he runs for 25 yards.
Exactly.
You don't have the coverage there that completes the pass, and away it goes. Getting it out to the 30. The Bears will operate 1st and 10. Is Drew Brenner. Oh, let's see if we have the big play potential. Goodzak's run was 50 yards, but does he have a 70-yard run in him or a 70-yard pass play in him? 3 Bear receivers at the top of the screen. A little hook and lateral, and DeGuida is on the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that worked. I mean, that really was very well done. Your danger with that low pass, though, is if his knee goes down.
Yep, exactly. And
he's down right there.
Yep.
So good to pick that up without going down to the ground, and then the little shovel to DeGuida, who takes it into Panther territory at the 36.
And the nice thing about that is, they get that chunk of yards with very little time coming off the clock.
Oh, Goodzak now trying to get it outside. Breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles, all the way. He's going to go in from 36. So in 2 plays, the Bears answered back. Wow.
Yeah.
Looked like they had that bottled up.
They were in pretty decent position. They had their hands on him. Give Goodzak credit. Running through those arm tackles.
He probably has 100 yards rushing by.
Oh, easy.
Easy today.
Yeah, easy. Yep. Just on those 2 runs, he's got 80 yards about, right? 85, 90 yards, right? 52 for the first one.
36 for the second one. Yep. The extra point by Dresner. Is it good? Yes, it is. A little line drive. It wasn't as clean as the other one, but okay. So in less than a minute's time, the Bears answer, and it is. And because Perth Amboy missed the extra point,
yes,
we're back down on 7.
Yep.
Not on 8, on 7. So the Bears have had 4 successful PAT converts. As I looked at that scoreboard, I'm like 35. And it just kind of dawned on me.
Yep.
Now,
the cheerleaders there, but yeah.
Yeah. 28 push-ups, right? 28?
Yeah. So now it comes down to, again, the East Brunswick defense. So 2nd time East Brunswick's in this quarter here scored, and last time obviously not the result East Brunswick wanted.
Well, again, you're playing with fire, putting this ball up in the air with that much hang time, unless you're going to drive it into the end zone. And I don't think Dresner has that kind of leg. I would put this ball on a line drive and make it bounce, make it squirm. punch shot. Again, good wrap up. Okay, not a problem there as the Bears contain Carlos Baldera. So Dressner and flags now. We got a little extracurricular going on there. And again, let's
gotta be disciplined here.
Let's hear what we got going on here after our referee Jim Dolan confers with his officiating crew. We'll get the call.
I got a dead ball. Personal foul. 8 white.
Number 8. So
John DeJesus.
Well, that helps.
That's a half the distance mark off. That's going to, 15, basically, essentially a 15-yard penalty to mark it off. Well, they're still conferring, so I don't know why, where they're figuring out where the penalty took place.
Yeah, because I see the chains aren't, I guess, set up yet. They're waiting for the mark off. Here we go. Going to be inside the 20. Should be around the 15.
So 8:52 on the clock, and Perth Amboy will take over at the 15. And again, the Bears need to stop them from the big play potentials here. 3 wide receivers to the bottom of the screen. And again, they got single coverage. The handoff inside. Getting about 4, 5 maybe. And we have a Bears player on the turf for injury. Didn't see who that was.
No.
There it is.
Just how he's holding it looks like maybe the rib area or maybe the wind knocked out of him. And there's Lori DeFazio, the head trainer there for East Brunswick. Bob Molars is also coming out to take a look.
The injured Bear.
Christian Richards, right? That's always a good sign where you worry about those head and neck injuries. Not that you don't worry about all the injuries, but those are the ones that really worry you. So when you see a kid that's able to get up like that, you feel better. Looks like she's more concerned maybe with his down by his ankle area.
Well, it's not a hot night, so we'll probably rule out cramping.
Right.
But could have gotten his ankle rolled on. Well, while we have this moment, we'll take our time here to thank the EBTV technical crew for their gracious support of East Brunswick High School athletics. You can see this game being rebroadcast on Saturday, October 6th at 1 p.m., Sunday, October 7th at 3 p.m., or you can catch it on demand. Go to the ebtv.org website, click video on demand, and select any of the programming, whether it's community or sports like this. And again, our gracious thanks. Over 30 years of service to the East Brunswick athletic program. EBTV's run out of the East Brunswick Public Library there. So again, the community has such a wonderful resource there.
And Ken, for your service too, 20 years.
20 years of doing these games in some capacity. Yes, you're right.
You're only in your 30s.
Yeah. I wish. I wish. Second down and call it a long 4, maybe 5. Inside handoff and just dragging the pile forward. Yeah, probably going to get the first down or be really close as they're going to stop the clock, and yes, it is a first down.
Yeah, did a lot of that on his own there, carrying some defenders. So you might see, Perth Amboy maybe a little bit wants to take a little time off this clock. Obviously if they are able to get some first downs, and that is obviously helpful. You can't fall asleep if you're East Brunswick here, though.
You mentioned the fact that when they had the bigger lead, they got a little too tricky with that reverse, and it ended up on the ground. Now, fortunately for them, it didn't cost them anything. Inside handoff. This is not going to be good, as Rivera's going to essentially run
look at
the length of the field for a touchdown. once he broke the contain of that first line, boom, there was nothing there as the Bears were walking up pressure.
And no laundry, like you say, right, Ken, on that?
No laundry.
Only one that had a chance there, A.J. Smith, the safety back there, and, got a little stiff arm, was able to create a little space and just too fast for him. Well, we said in the broadcast, I said I think, East Brunswick offensively has to score a little more because I know Perth Amboy has the potential. East Brunswick has scored more, but unfortunately I think it's been more the defense after the scores here. They're not able to keep Perth Amboy out of the end zone.
And we'll have a flag on the play because of illegal participation.
Exactly.
As one of the and they're going to back them up.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised they're still kicking the ball. I know this kicker had made the one look a lot better. I guess you can't blame him last time for the snap here, the snap before, but.
Nope. That is no
pulled
good.
it.
It's wide left. Well, let's get the touchdown to get it close, and then we'll worry about the second one. But 41-28. Well, if you want offense, we've had it. Well, big chunks, both sides, big chunks.
I was talking to a couple people at work today, and I was saying the Thursday night football game, I don't know if you watched any of it.
I caught highlights over here and there, yeah.
But I'm saying one of the best Thursday night games in terms of offense and exciting game that I've seen in a while. So, this is also, if you like scoring, this is a fun game. I'm sure East Brunswick's not going to be too happy,
well,
with the defense looking at some of the scores by Perth Amboy. But listen, the way East Brunswick's put some points on the board, if they can get another score here, like you said, Ken, without a lot of time taken off the clock, there's still plenty of time here. But unfortunately for East Brunswick, they have not been able to stop Perth Amboy.
Boom. Gets it across the 35. Is that Tapia?
That's Tapia, yep.
Carlos Tapia is going to bring it out. It's one of the upbacks. Brings it out and gets it to the 37-yard line. So 63 yards for pay dirt for the Bears. Last time it took them only 2 plays. One of 52 yards or so, and the other 42 yards, and the other one a 36-yard run. So.
Yeah, you might want. Really, if you're Perth Amboy, you want to stop him here.
Perth Amboy walking up some pressure here, so Godzak pulls it out. Going to fire in the flat. Has his man.
That's Tapia.
Tapia breaking tackles, gets it across into Perth Amboy territory. The 45. Clock will stop as they move the chains. Bears first down.
Nice job there by Godzak. Good job by Tapia. I was impressed with him last week. I like the way he plays. He plays hard, north and south there on that catch. So again, look at what East Brunswick. Not much time off the clock, already past midfield. I would just be a little bit more sense of urgency here. Still taking a little time to get the play, get in the huddle. Time is not on your side here.
3 wide receivers stacked to the top short side of the field. Godzak back to pass. Is going to go deep to the other side for Brenner. Oh, he had it on his hands, just off his fingertips.
Good pass.
Yep, he had it in stride, and a good pass by Godzak. Just that close. Now again, East Brunswick has been stacking the receivers and throwing opposite. You have one receiver on the wide side of the field with plenty of room if he can get open. But it would be nice to see 3 wide receivers stacked and have that kind of, group effort down there where you have choices of targets. That was a telegraph play for Brenner. 2nd and 10. Ball on the ground, picks it up. Protection holds. He's scrambling. Fires on the outside. Kind of thrown against his body again.
Yeah.
Kind of did not have that strength in that arm to throw it against that.
Might have been one he was just trying to get rid of, too. Not much separation there. Didn't want to take a sack. So third and 10 here. Obviously, this is two-down territory, being down two scores here with only 6 and change left in the game. So again, you might see East Brunswick run something where they don't necessarily get the first down here, but get something where it's going to be a fourth down and more manageable.
Haven't called DeGuida's name in a while.
No, you're right.
Time. Ooh, very close.
Yeah, just in time. Trying that screen
There's
again.
DeGuida. Little backdoor screen, blocking, nice. Oh, and they're going to throw the flag.
I disagree with that.
And that was not a block in the back. But
he had his helmet on the correct side. I don't agree with that either.
After missing the one that,
yes.
Tapia was about to sack O'Neal, and to call that one.
I agree.
White captain, white captain.
Obviously going to take him back here.
Well,
not obviously.
It's not obviously, because the 3rd and 10 versus a 2nd and 18 or so, because it would be a spot foul, 10 yards from the spot.
Well, 3rd. It would either be 4th and.
Oh, that's right. You're
right.
Block in the back. Number 11. Offense.
It would have been a 4th and about 3, I guess. Now it's going to be a 3rd and 13, right? 3rd and 14. Yeah, I thought he got his head on the correct side. Number 79 also had a good block, Yusuf Gamel. And I thought, well,
3rd down. Need to get the yardage. Gudzak's going to try to gut it out. Gets back, and it's going to be like a 4th and 9 or a 4th and 10.
Yeah, depending on where the spot is.
Again, time now.
I mean,
you got to score twice to get this in here. So.
Yeah, time is going by here.
Well,
this situation, if 2 minute, you have plays ready. I know this one is a big one. It's a 4th down, but this whole drive.
Well, I would roll Gudzak right, because he's throwing with his body, not against it.
Exactly.
Has a chance to plant.
Uh-oh, they're young. They want, and this might be a delay game here.
Gudzak's going to get tackled for a loss. And with 5:17 left, that is probably going to squelch the effort here of the Bears.
And DeGuida's hurt, too, on the play, which isn't good.
So barring a serious lapse of ball control on the part of the Panthers, they're going to be able to run this clock out. Up now 13.
And things just didn't, that play you saw, it looked like Sal Salsa was running down to the one end. It was and the coaching staff was kind of yelling stuff. It just didn't seem like they were quite on the same page.
Well, why didn't you call
everything?
Timeout? I mean, you have the timeouts. You haven't used one.
Yeah, it just seemed from the get-go that.
And who's is that the offensive coordinator on the field? Whoever that is who's calling the plays. They got to be aware of that if Molars isn't.
And they just got the play off too, in time. Well,
again, you don't want to be too cute and fancy with this, but East Brunswick has to stop them.
And I'd be pretty surprised to see Perth Amboy try to throw the ball here.
Well, I also would like to see East Brunswick, if they get a stop here on 2nd down, to use their timeouts.
Right. Up and smartly, they're going to wait.
Yeah, and they're going to
wait for take every second they can if they're smart here. They're going to wait to see. Now they see the hand up. Once they start seeing the count.
Oh, they are going to pass.
I'm surprised. And actually 12 was opened in the seam there.
Yep.
Decided to go to 14. I'm surprised with that play call, though.
And it stops the clock, too, so.
I guess you think if we get a big play or a touchdown, it really ends the game. I mean.
No, a first down ends the game.
Right.
So you have to look at it, 13 points up, especially if East Brunswick does start burning their timeouts.
Well, it saves East Brunswick a timeout there. Being aggressive, I guess. Gotta watch also O'Neal running the ball here if he does decide to pass.
Yeah, and the wide receiver flinched. Osiris Aceveda flinched, and that'll bring them back 5 yards. It'll be a 3rd down and 13 now.
Hasn't been the most cleanly played half by Perth Amboy either. They've had
we're getting
many
good
penalties.
Use of our wireless mic on the referee
right.
Here.
Lot of penalties. The turnover, but they've had the big play when they needed it. So each time East Brunswick did score, they answered back at this latter part of the game. So although they may have been a little bit sloppier, they've made some big plays.
East Brunswick has essentially won this half, though. It was 22-7 at halftime. Screen pass, knocked down.
That's dangerous, huh? Jeez.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bodies. A lot can go wrong on that screen. A lot could go right. Obviously, you can make a big play, but a lot can go wrong. That middle of the field, all those bodies, that's a dangerous pass play.
Well, the Bears get bailed out by the 2 incomplete passes, so the clock is stopped. Now, again, if you get the big play here, a block punt, a muff punt, a great return. Now who's calling timeout? Now you call timeout?
Yeah,
the clock is stopped, and now you're calling timeout? What is wrong on with the communications on the East Brunswick sideline?
Did they have enough guys out there?
Who's counting? Is it the return man supposed to count?
I'm not sure if that's why. I don't know what the. Obviously they might be setting up for some type of block, but you think you
just
have that
off.
when you right?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come back to bite them, like where they do get a score or something and they need a timeout. You hope for the East Brunswick fans that they run into that. That means they have a chance. And like you said, with that missed extra point, the traditional score with the extra point, 2 of those would give East Brunswick the lead. So let's see here.
Brenner is back by himself, so this looks like it's going to be a punt block. And getting it away, it's a little shank punt. Does take a nice Perth Amboy bounce, and it will drop itself at about the 20. 4:11 left.
I'd like to see that on tape. I'll have to ask someone. I want to see that block again that got called for the legal block in the back. Well, we saw East Brunswick a little trickery on that one drive too, where they did the hook and ladder. Let's see if they have something else up their sleeve. I'd like to see them be a little bit more
downfield,
and also in terms of being ready with the next play if they do have a completion.
Uh-oh. Oh. And at the first down marker was Brian Whitelock, and he just couldn't corral it and bring it down. He had the chance to pick it up and get out of bounds quick and get the first down.
I almost thought he was like trying to catch it and turn around. You just want to catch that. You're right on the sideline anyway. Just come down with it. So ball kind of slipped out of good Zach's hand and actually made a nice recovery and a nice throw. That should have been a first down.
2 wide receivers, top 2 wide receivers, bottom single, setback, the snap, Pass downfield, trying to break through.
Should be
close to a first down.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to give it to him. Now East Brunswick should have a play ready. I would like to see him not huddle here and be ready to go. You need 2 scores. You're under 4 minutes now. Clock is running.
Just set up and everybody run the same play over and over again. Look for different
Right, have
receivers.
a couple plays set up. You know, right now they started this, you know, when the ball was placed at 3:57. We're down to 3:37. You know, almost 30 seconds coming off the clock.
And Godzak's arm is hit, and the ball flutters harmlessly into open space at around the 30, so this will bring up second down. Looks like DeGuida is quarterbacking this play, or came in with the play at least.
Again, East Brunswick 2 scores down, only 3:28 left, so both score and time against them. And that's having some, I don't know if the ball's wet. Okay.
And again, why no timeout?
East Brunswick's got to be ready here, right? They got to have a play ready. Time is running here. You're down 2 scores. Again, now we're under 3 minutes.
Cheerleaders are saying be aggressive, and that's what we need here.
That's out of bounds.
4th and 4.
Well, if you're East Brunswick here, you need the first down more than anything else. So, you know, even if you have to make a short little completion here, if Perth Amboy is playing back, you just have to get a route that gets you, you know, past the sticks here. So you can't worry about making a huge play. It's more important to keep the possession of the ball. And then now, you know, 2:34 left. You may maybe see, you know, Goodstock get something with his legs here as well if things break down.
Ball is tipped and harmlessly falls to the ground. Turnover on downs, 2:29, and essentially, unless Perth Amboy really fritters this one away, it's in the books, and they will get their second win. Bears still looking.
And next week's a tough one here.
Well,
South Brunswick coming to town.
Again, we've got to criticize the time management. We've got to criticize the play calling, the sideline, getting the plays in. It's a lot of mistakes, just a lot of kind of a non-focus, unfocused kind of, you know, moments.
Now, if Perth Amboy throws the ball here, well, I was surprised last drive they did. I mean, they should be running the ball 3 times here.
And that's a simple handoff to...
And stay in bounds if you're him. East Brunswick should call timeout. They do.
Sajo on the carry. I think that's his first carry or second carry. He hasn't been used much as a running back. They've been using Rivera out of the backfield.
So just to go over for East Brunswick here on the timeout. So after tonight, we're here October 5th against South Brunswick.
Yep, next Friday.
And then October 12th at Edison. Last home game for the Bears will be October 19th against Monroe. That's a very, on paper, a very winnable game. You know, maybe, you know, one that they really, you know, need to get there. And then October 26th at North Brunswick, and then the game this year at Old Bridge for Thanksgiving, and then in between there, you know, they do have that consolation
state game
that will, you know, obviously to be determined. And then we said, you know, Perth Amboy does play Piscataway next week.
And O'Neill comes up to the line here. 2:20 left to go. Hand off to Rivera. Rivera is going to bounce through, and he's going to go right to the end zone. So pointless. If you can't tackle, can't tackle. Well, up to this point, the Bears had won the half again, but now find themselves giving up another big play for a touchdown. And if you're wondering, the Bears still had timeouts, so it wasn't quite kneel down time.
Right.
But
yeah, and you knew what was coming there.
He's good. Hey, first time tonight for a while. And the final score is not going to adequately describe the game. It wasn't that bad. I mean,
it wasn't. It would, you know, I thought first quarter and maybe a few minutes into the second quarter, East Brunswick was doing exactly what they needed to do. Defense was getting Perth Amboy off the field. Offense, you know, had some good moments. Perth Amboy, that end of the second quarter, you know, started getting a little rhythm, a couple turnovers by East Brunswick, some penalties, things like that. East Brunswick starts off the third quarter about as bad as he can, down 29-7. Then all of a sudden, you know, their offense starts to click. And then unfortunately, when they made it that, you know, one possession game a couple of times, unfortunately, big plays by Perth Amboy, the defense wasn't able to, you know, stop them. And that's sort of been the name of the game here in this fourth quarter.
And driving, and that's Gudzak who's going to pick it up. And he'll be tackled down at the 32.
And, you know, stands have already, for the most part, with East Brunswick, at least the student body is pretty much emptied out.
Well, let's see if East Brunswick does not seem to be in a formation to go quietly. But we'll see what happens here. Gudzak will drop back the pass. He's going to launch it downfield for Brenner. In between two defenders, not exactly an advised throw, but Brenner had a chance at it. 2nd and 10.
You know, Perth Amboy last year, for the first time in a long time, made the playoffs. So, you know, this win, depending on, you know, power points, and I know their schedule later, they're maybe thinking about squeezing in another one.
Coming across the middle was Salvatore Salsa, but incomplete.
Yeah, and you know, with Perth Amboy winning their second game here, obviously Piscataway is going to be a tough one to get, but at Monroe, you know, winnable. At North Brunswick, I think they can hang in there. I don't know much about Montgomery, but you know, this was a big win for them.
Oh, they'll even their season right now at 2-2.
And obviously East Brunswick coming in, I'm sure the players and coaching staff were thinking this was one that they, you know, had a chance at, and they did at times during this game. But
3rd and 10. Pass is complete to Salsa, but he's not going to get to the 40, excuse me. He's going to get tackled at the 39. And East Brunswick's going to call timeout.
And last one, I believe, right, Ken?
Yep.
It's the last one.
Well, yeah, this is maybe an opportunity to try some things or to kind of build some confidence in Goodzak as a quarterback and the receiving core, but down 20. I just kind of want to hope nobody gets hurt in this at the end.
Exactly. You hate to see that type of stuff.
4th down and call it 4.
Yeah,
3, 3.5,
short 4, long 3. You need to get the tip of the ball, looks like, right to the 42-yard line, so they're on about the 39. So
two men motion at the same time.
Yep.
And that'll bring back what is a 1st down on the field, but it will negate that, and it'll bring up a 4th and 9.
Yeah, they shouldn't be moving the chains.
We got to get together on.
Oh yeah, the chains moved.
Yeah.
It was on the 39-yard line, so if they do this correctly, it should be back at the 34, and they have to get to the 43.
Procedure.
Too many men moving at the same time. Not like Canadian football, where everybody can move everywhere practically.
Exactly.
Can't cross the line of scrimmage though, but they can get a 20-yard running start.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 4th down, and now it's going to be 4th and 8. The Bears would need to get to the 43-yard line, so it's 4th and actually 9. Rolling.
Salsa's open. He was for a minute.
Busted play. Let's see what can come out of this. And
yeah, even if they caught it, doesn't matter. I don't know if they'll give him the catch. They do give him the catch, but it's turnover on downs.
Well, it's not for a lack of trying. This has not been a game where you just sense that the Bears have buried it and they're not trying. It just seems not coordinated. It didn't seem that they had any, kind of direction from the bench.
And I think if you look at it, 28 points for East Brunswick, you think that's a game you tell, people East Brunswick scored 28 tonight. You think they have a decent shot, and they did. Early they had that touchdown in the first quarter, kind of, had a couple turnovers in that second quarter, but, pretty much scored at will in this second half, right? 21 points put up in the second half, but each time the defense couldn't back them up, and Goodzak, I thought, ran well with the ball, threw the ball a little bit better in the first half. Obviously had a couple turnovers that hurt him. He thought he played pretty well and had a couple big plays, but I think this one comes down to not being able to get that stop when you needed it in that fourth quarter.
Victory formation for the Panthers. who need to do that 1 or 2 more times.
Yep, this will be the last one.
And that will be our ball game as the clock will wind down. Final score here, the Panthers of Perth Amboy 48, the Bears 28. Bears score more points in this game than they have in all of the previous 3 games combined.
Yeah,
so
and
moment there. Good thought.
Yeah, and I think, some good things. We talked about it. I've said some things. So definitely some positive, but then you can't just say, well, these are the positives, and you have to look at the things you have to get better at. So, no moral victories for East Brunswick, but a lot of good things. I just thought it came down to, obviously, if you're watching the game, when East Brunswick got those scores to make it a 1-possession game, each time Perth Amboy was able to score off of that. So you got to be able to back up your scores and get a stop, and unfortunately for East Brunswick, we weren't able to do that tonight.
All right, we'll be back here at Jay Doyle next week for the game against South Brunswick.
Right.
The Vikings come in here. And again, our thanks to the EBTV technical crew. For Richie Whalen, I'm Ken Soroka. Again, final score here, Perth Amboy 48, East Brunswick 28. Have a good night and a good weekend.